Hey, 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 welcome back to the Chiron Intensive. I am Kiera.
And I'm Zeta. We are so excited to have you guys back for season two.
Yes. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I think in between the time I feel like despite challenges, I've managed myself well and I'm pretty proud of like how much I feel like I've gotten closer to my financial journey. Like it feels
Good.
good. I'm happy.
Yes, it's been 6 months.
Right?
So much can happen in 6 months. I'm not gonna lie. I thought you were like we were gonna come back on here and you were gonna be like a completely different person, but it seems like you're more of a grounded Zeta.
I
This
I feel like I've gotten it a little bit more grounded. Like I'm still working on like regulating myself,
yeah,
for sure. But like I will say that the difference is more so I guess like yeah, being grounded and just like I guess being more firm in who I am and
yeah.
also letting go of the things that are not like quite for me or working for me.
Exactly. It's so important to figure out right away what is for you and what is not for you because time right now is so expensive.
Right? I know with everything so much just going on, it's kind of like, yeah, like you have to be so like combing through everything with a comb and like it's hard, but it
Yeah,
has to be
I'm
done.
exhausted. I'm exhausted. The past 6 months have been very exhausting, eye opening, and I'm just ready for this cycle to end. I know that many changes are coming up for me. I know that I am making myself extremely busy. And we had this conversation in the last season about Black women and burning ourselves out. And
Yes.
I'm literally signing up to be burned out, but it's like a passion, you know what I mean? It's a difference for me if I'm being burnt out from an organization or a situation that I'm just like what's going on, you know? This is not for me. This is not my journey. This is not my path. I'm literally here for a paycheck or I'm here for circumstance. This is not something I need to be doing or wasting my time on. But I'm signing myself up for so many things that are going to help me grow, especially for grounded stars, but just help me grow as a professional. But I'm still, I like thinking about it is exhausting, if that makes sense.
No, that it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense because like I think like kind of like making it short, it's a lot. You have a lot to juggle, but you can't just there's certain things you can't drop while juggling. So it's just like you're trying
Exactly.
to yeah.
Exactly. I have to prioritize and I have to just say no. Like I feel like one of my weakness points, or if that makes one of my weaknesses is that I am too nice sometimes and I don't want to just simply say no when I know I have to. Like I'm sorry, but in this season of my life, in season two,
Oh,
of
yep,
of
season 2.
this, I have to just be like, I'm sorry, but no.
Being able to use the power of your no. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But back to back to us. It was great catching up. But the Chiron Intensive is a space where we dive deep into healing. It is inspired by Chiron, the wounded healer, and this podcast explores how our struggles can become our strength. So it's all about real talk, real growth, and creating community for young adults who deserve to thrive.
So with this season, you can definitely expect to listen in on some topics that we find very important that we think is also another part of someone's healing journey. So we want to make sure that we're talking about things that go hand in hand with your healing. So we're excited to kick off on episode one. And in this week's theme, we're all about identity and self-image. So in this particular episode, we will discuss healing the wound around courage and confidence.
Absolutely. There is a specific kind of pain that forms when you learn early that it's not safe to assert yourself, like saying no, right? How many times have you been guilt tripped just because you said no? Or you were maybe you were told you were too much when you were finally putting your foot down. Maybe your anger, and I'm using air quotes here, maybe your anger was punished. But a lot of the time, anger is that secondary emotion, and whatever is underneath that, you're just validating yourself, right?
Mhm.
And maybe every time you try to take the initiative and validate yourself, you were shut down, you were dismissed, or you were overpowered. And over time, you might have learned to shrink yourself. I know for me as a Black woman, especially as a Black queer woman, and a single mother, I have learned that I'm supposed to be silent, I'm supposed to be quiet, and I'm supposed to be grateful for whatever is handed to me. I'm supposed to literally shrink myself. What about you?
Oh, yes. Like, can I say yes with all caps? Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Just if I were just simply saying, I mean, I've seen it, and I feel like because, most of the time I'm at work, a lot of the times it happens at work. And, now I have great coworkers now. So it would just be either like a previous coworker and or like a patient that didn't get what they want, and because I was firm in my answer, they took that firm answer as it just being disrespectful and rude. And all of a sudden I'm like, and then when I just say, hey, no, I understand how you're feeling, but that is not correct, it's like, oh, so, but I'm like, I want to make sure I set the truth straight, because now you're talking about, my work ethic. And just even doing that, it's kind of like, no, don't get too big. And then the clientele are tend to be older folks. So then me as a younger person, and especially if I'm a younger woman and it's another older woman, and you know how like a lot of the times it's already viewed like, oh, so you just think you can just, know your place. You can't school me. And I'm like, I ain't schooling you. I'm not schooling you.
Exactly. I cannot tell you how many times I will literally be as me as I'm a New Yorker. I'm born and raised in New York. I have lived in the South for 10 years, but I've come back. And I noticed that I'm very polite, I'm very kind. I say hi, I make eye contact. I do things that to other New Yorkers are like, oh God, you know? And it's like, okay, so guess what? Now I'm not going to be that way. Now I'm going to act like I don't see you. Now I'm going to push past you and I'm going to go about my day. I'm not going to give effort where my effort is being either mocked or just it's usually mocked. I was about to say
Right,
either mocked or something, but it's usually
right,
I'm being mocked for being nice to you. And then when I finally take the niceness out of my tone, and I'm not being fake, that's genuinely me. Like it
right,
is in my nature to just be polite and kind, ask you how you're doing. Like that's just my nature.
right,
But now I'm going to mirror you. I'm going to reflect back you to you.
right. And it's like, why it's kind of like in the folks that do that, it's kind of like, I don't know, you let me know if it's immature, but whenever they view you as, reflecting them what they were dishing out to you, um it's like, I don't know if they take it
Oh,
as a challenge or
oh
if
no,
it's
they take
taking like they need to put you
offense.
down. Like, yeah, they take offense.
They take offense to their own behavior towards themselves. I
Yes.
literally had a situation where I was saying hi to this person every single day. I literally stopped and I would just say what I needed from them.
Hmm.
And then she was like, "Oh, excuse me." So now we have a problem. And then before you had a problem. So guess what? I'm going to take out all of my energy and I'm going to focus on what I need to do and how I need to go about my day. I'm not about to spend any more time or energy on this.
Right, because you're not a people pleaser.
Not anymore. I was. I was. Not anymore. And then when you're forced to be loud so that people know that you're not a doormat, or you're not someone to mess with, you're not somebody that they can play games with, they don't like that. When you have to fight, and I don't mean physically fight, it could be, spiritually, uh in the workspace, like you mentioned, you have to fight because being vulnerable feels unsafe. You're not allowed to speak up. You're not allowed to voice your opinion, especially when you are a part of a vulnerable population. They think um, that's a green light to treat you however they feel. Like, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Right.
Because there's a certain way that they treat, let's just do rich and poor, right?
Right.
A rich person goes into a store, they are greeted, and they look rich. I don't mean like, because there's some rich, like J Cole is a rich person. You would
Oh,
never think
you never think
you
he ride
would
his
never
bike
think
on that
that
beach.
man is rich. You would never, right? But there's like an archetype of the rich person, like Paris Hilton, for
Right.
example.
Right.
Paris Hilton walks into a store, you're not gonna ignore Paris Hilton.
You'll be
But
like,
if
who's
you
that?
Right. But if a homeless man walks into that same store, you're probably going to either follow him around that store or ask him to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right or am I wrong?
No, that's right. Yep.
And I don't mean to say that, because there are homeless people that look perfectly. There are homeless people that look rich, right? I mean, what
Yep.
I mean to say is the the the
Kind of like because
the
kind of the overcompensation of how somebody is, what they come across in the world.
right.
They know that that affects them a certain type of way, and they might have to overcompensate in a certain manner, right?
Right. Or the stereotypical look of a homeless person who is actively on the street. They're unable to wash. They are unable to, uh, you know, fend for themselves. You see them on the street, you know that they are homeless, right? That's what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
That type of person goes into a Burberry or a Gucci store. Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
Come
Mm-hmm.
on. Right. And we struggle with these things, and we struggle with the way we look, and we struggle with starting things because of how you are brought up, right? Because remember that Chiron is a wound. So
Mm-hmm.
tonight we will be focusing on a wound of you. What about you, or how you physically look, or how you come off to other people? What does that wound feel like, or where does it stem from? Right. The specific wound for identity and self image can often look like, what if I'm not capable? What if I fail? What if I'm not strong enough? What if I don't look good enough? I can't go to that interview with my natural hair. I have to straighten my hair. I have to put on a face full of makeup. I have to wear this suit. I can't look the way that I look on a regular Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. You know, another one
Right?
is like, oh, what if I'm gonna be judged? That's another one that I
Exactly.
would have like had a wound for. Yep.
Exactly. And it comes from judgment. It comes from previous experiences that you've either dealt with, or you yourself may be guilty of, right? Because we
Yes.
we also have personal bias behaviors that we are taught, and it's our responsibility to grow up and unteach ourselves.
And not also put yourselves down for where you took you, because I know like we we were adapting despite those wounds. We were adapting with what we have, what we were brought up with, but now we can actually grow further from that because we're going to identify it. We're going to rebuild that relationship with yourself. You can see where um you're learning where your emotions can just be a source of information and you don't have to destruct that. You can still advocate for yourself, in a manner that, although some people are going to be upset, it's not technically, it wasn't rude, it wasn't aggressive, it wasn't mean, but you said, no, I do not like that. And some people take, no, I do not like that as a threat. You can't do nothing about those folks, but you can definitely be able to set your boundaries because it comes from a place of like, this is what you did because this is my identity and this is what I'm confident with myself about. Like, and wherever that is, it's not going to be perfect, but it's better to start off imperfectly rather than not at all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Your power was never gone. It was just unprotected. Before we dive into our full discussion, because that was pretty heavy, so I'm gonna take a deep breath. I feel like I'm standing on a soapbox sometimes.
Right? We start off
So
feeling too strong.
yes, I did. Oof, because it irritates me. It irritates me to see little girls and little boys feel so insecure about their physical appearance because of an adult in their life or children in their lives who have been taught by adults to judge them or criticize them or make them feel less than. That
Right.
is not cool, because that wound, it's going to stay. I don't care how hard you work on yourself, it's always going to stay with you, and it'll be triggered um at the most inconvenient times.
Right. Exactly. Heavy on
Yeah.
the most inconvenient times because it really
Yes.
is.
Because there's like, for instance, like job interviewing, it's Black women are all, and men who have like locks or afros, just natural hairstyles, are
Hmm.
often made to feel like they cannot express themselves in that way, or they have to uh manipulate it to look a certain way, because generally a wild afro is not going to be acceptable.
Right. Even though that's just how
Right.
your hair grow. Like you
And
literally
that's your
came out the
natural
womb
hair
like,
state.
yeah.
Yep. Yep. And I'm dealing with that now. I just showed you I chopped off my hair. I am dealing with that now. And I'm just like, oh, I hate myself for it. But at the same time, there is it's okay for you to want to look a certain way professionally. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But it's like it stems from a previous experience. It stems from a wound.
It
Not,
does.
yeah, yeah. But before we dive into our discussion even more, let's take a moment to break the ice, make it a little lighter. So, Zetha, share a moment when you surprised yourself by being brave, even if it was something small.
So the example that I wanted to give was, I mean, I feel like there are many small moments, and I want to use the small moments because I feel like those is like it started something in me to like not to be more likely to just stand up and be like, yeah, I'm gonna say this. But it started off when just like when I was at a restaurant and they got my order wrong, and it was just like normally I would have just been sitting there just eating my food, not liking what
It's
I
like you
had.
had one job.
Right? But I'll just be like, oh, I'll be like, oh, excuse me. Well now I am like, oh yeah, that's not in there. I can I have that in there, please?
Especially when you are paying for overpriced food.
Yes.
Because anytime we're eating out, it's overpriced.
Yeah,
Anytime.
it's overpriced. And I'm
So
not
give me
afraid to
what I
tell the
ordered.
it's gone. I'm gonna be like, I ordered 6 tenders. There's 4. I don't care how
Yeah.
greedy I sound.
Yeah. And if you give me the vibe that you're about to do something to my food, I want a full refund. I'm not playing with
Yes,
you.
yes,
I
yes.
do not mess. I don't like people having access to my food. I don't. It's like, I don't mess with that, because you're putting that into your body.
Yeah, and it's like people do crazy things with your food. So I'm like, That's why I try to make sure I don't be, because I don't be rude. But because the first time I did, I was like, excuse me, but and then I grew better from that. So now I'm not afraid. But like, I know for sure if I know I'm like having a really, really bad day, I just stay away from ordering food in general, just because I already know that I'm probably much harder for me to like kind of like mask. And I'm not, of course,
Yeah.
again, being objectively rude, but if you come up to a window and I'm like very monotone and I'm giving like shorter responses, you just never know, that'll tick somebody off for the day. And I'm just like, I don't want to play with that. So
Yeah, and it's even worse now because of everything that's going on in the economy. Everybody has a short fuse, and
yes.
your your overreaction is dangerous because I don't know how far you're gonna go, and I have to get away from you.
Oh, yeah.
I don't feel safe sometimes, and I just separate myself. One thing that does help is ordering ahead. Like if you have the app for the place that you would like to order from, just try to order from the app, and then if they miss something from your order, you can just say, "Hey, this is what I ordered. This is," and show them your phone. That
Mhm.
helps me a lot.
Oh,
Um,
yes. And you get
yeah.
reward points.
Yes. Yes. And also it kind of reminded me of Simba from The Lion King when he did the roar, right?
I love that when he
And
did the
then
roll.
when Mufasa, remember when we thought it was Simba at first, but it
Yeah,
was actually Mufasa in the background? Yeah,
literally
it's
fell
it's
for
like that.
that.
Having to teach yourself to roar, having to teach yourself to clear that throat chakra and
Mhm.
speak up for yourself because who else is going to?
Right. And then it gets stronger and stronger over time. So like now I don't even really think about it too much. And sometimes when they mess up my boyfriend's food, I'd be like or just even when like I'm at the store, like somebody is about to do something that's going to cause issues for me. Hello, excuse me, could you step back a little bit for me, please?
Yeah,
I'm more comfortable this way. Or
personal space.
yeah, like excuse me, or sometimes I'm gonna be real. When somebody is giving me too much information at work and it's affecting my flow, and I have three phone calls ringing on the phone, and there's somebody who's ready to check in, and I do not want to get two more voicemails on my phone because the phones are still ringing. Excuse me, ma'am, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but I do have to move on with the conversation. How can I help you? Like, and before I get
Exactly. Like,
scared
why
to
are
do
we
that.
dwelling on this? Oh my
Yes.
goodness. It's like some people genuinely look for a fight because they have no other interaction in the other parts of their day.
Right.
And
Right.
it's like that's not the interaction that you can just speak. You don't need to be doing all of this.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
I think that one moment that actually surprised me when I was actually brave was actually speaking to a very large organization during the grant
Oh,
application process
you did have to
because
do that.
I I spent so much time on this grant application, right? I'm not going to name the organization. I spent so much time on this grant application, and they were like dangling a carrot in my face and were like, "Oh, um, hey, we received this. Can you send me this budget list?" Okay, got you. Sent it immediately. Okay, hey, yeah. Oh, take a look at this. Fixed whatever you needed me to fix immediately. Like I'm on it. I'm on it. I'm on it. I'm on it. I'm letting you know that I'm available. I'm able to fix it. I'm able to explain everything. Then you come back to me a month later and say that I'm disqualified because I did not choose which borough I wanted to work with.
What?
And then when I sat there and I stated that wasn't in the RFP, tried to like kind of gaslight me about there needing to be an understanding that, this is no, it's either you write an addendum, right? Which means you have added something new to the terms, to the original terms, you have added something new or a new requirement. You have to announce that. You cannot just make up the rules as you go.
Right.
And I listed this and I said, is this legal? And then once I said that, they come back to me with well, they didn't come back to me directly, but they put out a whole announcement that they are pulling the entire thing so that they can revamp it and then they will re-release it. So I did something right.
You sure did, because that is just legal. Definitely
Is
said.
this legal? And sometimes you have to word it as a question so that you don't seem like you're a threat, right?
Right.
You have to word it as a question because a lot of people think that you don't know or you're not aware or you don't read. You you know, you have to be very mindful of how you interact with individuals. So sometimes wording it as a question is still you speaking up, it's still you being brave, but you're letting them know that this ain't right.
Yes, and I think that's something I definitely had to learn over time, because it is just, if you're viewed as a threat, it can kind of like open a whole nother can of worms for you to
Oh
navigate.
yeah. If you're viewed as a threat, they're going to do whatever it takes to push you out, deny you, disqualify you, and
Mm-hmm.
try to word it in ways that have nothing to do with what's actually going on, you
Right.
know?
Right.
I'm very mindful of gaslighting techniques. I've been gaslit my entire life. I'm very aware of when I'm being gaslit, when I'm being played. It doesn't work on me anymore.
Since you mentioned kind of like dealing with things all your life, and such as being gaslit, and I'm still learning about the gaslight. I just be looking back at stuff and I'm like, oh, at that time that was
Yes.
being manipulation. But
She's so
if you
angry.
if you could speak to your younger self, what would be one tip you would give them concerning like courage or confidence, or navigating these things?
Yep. I would have called out the gaslighting. If I were my younger self, I would have started my research earlier. I started like teaching myself psychology in high school to protect myself. I was
Mm.
teaching myself psychology to protect myself from psychological abuse. So, if I were able to speak to my younger self, I would tell my younger self to stop lying for other people. Stop protecting other people and protect yourself
Wow,
first.
that's beautifully said.
What about you?
Um, for me, I would say kind of like, don't be afraid to start small. I feel like I like how you use the symbol roar as an example, because I feel like if I just started small a long time ago, I think a lot of things, you can't avoid certain things from happening to you, right? You can only control the things that you can't control. But I do feel like there was a lot more things that was in my control had I had more confidence and less of that urge to people please and speak up for myself. I think I would have been where I wanted to be, like little young Zetha wanted to be, a little bit much closer or on a better path towards that. Like, I just think about, dang, the amount of people I could have said no to if I just start off with a little no, just a little cute no, like, excuse me, but
Mm-hmm.
no, like something like that. Like, it was okay to start small. It don't got to be a grand thing. And I think I obsessed of it being a grand thing. It had to be a major move. I had to glow up in my personality, like tonight. If I just, the tip would be just start small, because I learned
Exactly.
you start small and inconsistently it grows bigger. And now I'm like, I don't know, I just feel like my little itty bitty powerhouse. Like, I'm just, before somebody skip me in line, I would take it. But I'm like, if I'm at Walmart and I told Cameron, I mean my boyfriend, right? I'm so sorry, I'm ranting, I'm rambling, but I'm gonna cut
No,
it short.
finish.
But one time, like, a lady skipped us in line, and it wasn't really like, the line was growing, but she skipped us. And in my eyes, it looked like she knew that she was skipping us. It was deliberate because the
They
line,
all know. It's
they all
always
know,
deliberate.
because there was no way the line was forming in a different direction, and she tried kind of like shimmied herself in. And I said, "Excuse me, ma'am, but the line is over here." And younger me wouldn't have said that. I would have just took it and then been
Get to the back.
annoyed. Oh, you crack me up.
Get to the back. Go.
And then, I was like, "Babe, can you believe that?" And he was like, "Oh no," he went in. I was like, "Babe, no, it's the principle.
No, it
It's the
really
principle."
is because they only do it to who they think they can get away with it with, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Ugh,
Like, I
just
wouldn't start a
like,
fight over a line. Like, I probably would have like, "Okay, girl." Like, if she did, I'd have been like, "Girl, I guess you need the line more than me." Like, but I said, "Excuse me, but you have to get to the line is over here." We had
no,
somewhere to
I'm
go.
not. I just no. I have those instances too. And it's because I have children with me. These people think they could just do whatever, talk to me however, and I'm not going to respond. Am I going to sit here and lash out and and have disorderly conduct in public? No, I'm not. I'm not going to do
Right.
all of that. But I'm going to say something. You're not going to sun
Exactly.
me. It's like stop.
Not the sun. Because kind of like treat me like as an equal, a human being. And I still do that with others, right? Like, I want somebody to be able to
Yes.
be like, "Excuse me, this and this and that." Because I'm like, "Oh, wait, let me correct myself. I was in the wrong." But
It's the
yeah.
audacity for me. It's the fact that you sat there and really saw me and thought you could.
That's another thing too. Like,
It's like, huh? Are
and
you
it's
okay?
like, it doesn't help because then I'd be like, "Are you racist?" Even though I don't have, but I'm like,
It's like I can't use that all the time, but
right.
I'm starting to notice the pattern.
My ancestors don't like
Oh, I
that.
have some angry ancestors. I really do. When my ancestors, and they're always with me, especially when I'm driving. I have been saved many times. But they come out angry. And that's how I know, and I have to say this. I know my father is like with me 24/7.
Period.
Regardless of all of the stuff I have been through, the struggles I've gone through, I'm still here. Right. And I
Right.
just know like there's like something bigger than me standing behind me and ready to pounce whenever it needs to.
Oh, that's so beautiful. I love that.
Because I'm like, there's no way that I've made it. Oh man, but yeah, they come up very angrily. I know there's an angry feminine. I don't know who it is. I don't know, maybe it's like a person that I've never met, cuz some of your ancestors you've never met them, you probably don't know them,
Right.
but they're in your lineage.
They're in your blood. Yep.
Yeah, cuz there's definitely an angry feminine in my line that is just like, heck no.
They don't play. Oh my goodness. Um,
Yes.
so pretty much kind of like we're like dabbling into everything in this episode, but like we uh pretty much, like, I think if you catch the hint of what we're saying, it's kind of like in our life experiences, something kind of affected your view of things or your behavior. So it kind of like one moment made you feel less courageous, and that you were taught, yes, if I am being this way, I'm going to have something that I do not want to happen. If I speak up, something is going to happen to me, or I'm going to be punished for expressing that I'm upset about this, or expressing that I need a change in this, or you're ignored. I know that was the biggest thing. I think I was ignored a
Ooh,
lot. I'd just be like, "Oh,
yeah.
nobody
The
will listen
silent
to me."
treatment.
The silent treatment.
The
Yes.
silent treatment. Yeah. To this day, I still receive the silent treatment. And when I was younger, it really affected me. It really made me feel very small and just insignificant.
Because you deserved to be heard. Like, that's good for your development, being known that you're heard. It's good for your self-esteem, it's good for your growth. And if you aren't given that, it's kind of like, where do I start? So it's like, even for me, that's why I kind of like don't beat myself up too much, because of the fact that I didn't know like starting small would let me grow. Like I'm like grateful that at least now I'm 26. And, I learned that now, because when I work with like older patients and patients who are in their 80s, 90s, and they're acting out just because you told them they couldn't get a 9 a.m. appointment, I remind myself, well, dang, I'm glad that I still learned something now, and I'm not 80 years old yelling at a young woman over an appointment. And that, it's not even no shade. It's no shade. But I'm like, what happened in your development that you have to, do that because you didn't get what you wanted? And I
Yeah,
told you you can't
I've
have it.
been asking myself for the past few months, who raised you? Because you are an adult acting like this.
Right.
You're an adult, a whole
Right.
grown up.
A grown up. And it's, but I think also like it's good for us to talk about these things, and we're at our age and we're including like a broad range in our age group for this discussion, because I came across something a while ago where wherever you kind of like stopped at in terms of growth, kind of like your personality sticks with you. I think, isn't it like in your 30s, after your 30s you're kind of like stuck with who you are, like behavior wise?
So some people who have been through trauma, like real, like a very traumatic event,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they stop developing after that traumatic event. So let's say something happens at the age of 13, that individual may be mentally stuck at the age of 13
Oh,
if they don't choose, because remember, we have a choice. If they don't choose to do better, if they don't choose to grow, if they don't choose to heal and use that pain as a source of motivation or something, or even just talk about what happened, or realize maybe I need to go to therapy, maybe I need a psychiatrist, maybe I need this, right? They
right.
can be mentally stuck at that age that something traumatic happened.
Right. And I mean that explains a lot of things. I'm not even being TMI. I'm be like, that I'm thinking about my father. Cause
Yeah.
I'd be like, what?
Yeah. Some
Cause
of our parents, yeah.
you, and in that important part of you mentioning like choice, because we still have a choice. You can't control a lot of things, but you can still kind of control you, or how you decide to move forward with something.
Yes, you can't control what took place, what already happened, but you can decide when you are an adult. I don't mean children. I don't mean
Right.
anyone who is under a certain age, or anyone who is um non-independent, right? I'm talking about individuals
Adults.
who are considered to be functioning adults. You have a choice to make whether or not you are going to push past this.
That's beautifully said. That is beautifully said.
Yes. Um, so the wounds around courage and confidence are tied to fear, like we mentioned. I know for me, I have a hair wound. I have a hair wound. I shave my hair like every I think I shave my hair every 5 years. I shave my hair. I know it's gonna grow back. But I do have a wound when it is growing back. I have this wound about showing my hair or feeling confident about my hair because of the things that were said to me as a young child. And we
Mhm.
spoke about this in the first season, right?
Right.
So those wounds, they can affect you and they stick with you. I am grown and I still have this wound. I push past it all the time, but I still have this wound. Um, you may have adapted to people pleasing, like Zeta said, overthinking, self doubt, freezing instead of acting, and making yourself feel really small. Um, how many times do you walk around with your head down? you have your head down, and you're not you may be paying attention to where you're going, but you're not actively looking up and making eye contact with people, right? Because you've been taught to be small. And it's so important to overcome these habits because of how they hurt you in the long run. For example, you might struggle with avoidance or withdrawal from situations or people because of an associated fear. I know I do not like being in crowds of people. I don't care what it is. I don't want to be around a group of people. It's just, I don't know. I don't like it. I don't want to be around a crowd. And that's something that also stems from childhood, right? And you're doing certain things that you think are protecting yourself, but what ends up happening is possibly a sense of isolation and disconnection, and this leads to cycles of powerlessness. I know for me, being in between hairstyles, like, it has caused me to feel less confident about myself. I'm not gonna lie, it really has, and it's always been that way. Whenever I'm in between, or my hair is in that in between phase, it really plays with my confidence, and I have to push past it quite often.
And you like still try to like find ways to remind yourself that you are beautiful and that your natural
Mhm.
beauty is still compatible with who you are, right?
Oh yes, I listen to some of the music is a little trill. It's a little trill, but I listen to very motivating music, like Shinseiya.
Oh my gosh, I've been
Shinsia. I'm
getting
saying
into her. Yeah.
Shinsia. Sorry, not Shinseiya. Shinsia. There's this song. Hold on, what is the name of it? I just played it. Upset. Them
Did I?
upset. Them sick of me. That song.
I love
I
that.
can listen to it back to back to back, and it gets me back to where I'm going. And if you notice, a lot of reggae songs are very motivational.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, they're
They
very
are.
motivational.
I be saying big up to my little Jamaican friends. I be like, hey, y'all music good.
Yes, my dad died when I was 2, and I don't have a close relationship with his mom, but she's still alive. I'm just
Mhm.
very curious what his dad was, like what his background was, because I promise you it has to be West Indian.
You
It
know, it
has to
wouldn't
be.
be a huge, it wouldn't be what's the word I'm trying to find? You wouldn't be off because I mean like the diaspora is like spread far and wide and people just be hopping and sprinkling here and there like
Yes.
yeah.
Like, I know my maternal side, they have deep roots in the South, and my father's maternal side also have deep roots in the South. But I know his dad is of some other, he has to be West Indian or something. It has to be.
Have you ever did a 23andMe?
No, because I used to work for, what's the other company?
Ancestry.com, there's
Yes, I used to work for them,
mhm.
and they are owned by Mormons.
Oh,
So, did you do that?
no, I didn't do that one. I just
Please
did
do not,
23andMe.
please do not give your DNA away to these people. Please don't.
I did give him a fake name though. I hope that helps.
But you gave them your DNA? Don't
That's not
give them your
even worse.
DNA.
You're right. It's even worse.
Do you know that they use this to like find criminals now? Like,
Yeah, I did
yeah,
hear
they'll be
about
like,
that.
oh, this person has been found for a crime that was committed like 30 years ago, because they sat
Whoa.
there and did a ancestry, or what was the other one? The 23andMe.
Ancestry or 23andMe, yeah.
Mm-mm. They are owned by Mormons.
Goodness gracious.
And just look up the history of Mormons. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna go deeper.
I know a little bit. I know a little bit. And just
As
like,
a
oh,
Yeah, please don't give your DNA to them. Please.
girl, now I'm like, I did stop at 23andMe. I did stop at there. And then I was like, all right, I got what I needed. Got what I
Well,
needed.
what were you? What were your results?
Well, I'm like 98% like West African. No, is it just full African? Yeah, and then like half, almost half and half, uh, West African, and then the other half Central, like
Oh, that makes
Democratic
sense.
Republic of Congo,
Yeah.
and then Nigeria, Ghana. And then I was like, that kind of makes sense because Haiti, and there's just I mean Haiti, you could just hear it with the music and the way we talk, interact with each other. And it's there's strong like ties and signs of like the Congo, the Congolese. And I was like, I just look at my mom and dad and I'm like, all right, so if it's half and half, which one of you guys are which one of you
Yeah.
guys in the family? I'm like, could be my
Yeah.
dad, could be my mom. But yeah, it's that, and then like 2% European. And we probably, you know how that happened. Like French,
Right.
German, and a little bit of Spanish, I guess. Wherever
Yeah.
that 2% is, but you know where that comes from.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I have to do some sleuthing and figure it out. It has to be. I am too like reggae music and calypso and like it's too heartfelt. It has to be, there has to be a connection.
There has to be. There has to be.
And
You know
I
what I
understand it
find?
perfectly. Like
Oh, and you understand it, girl. Okay.
perfectly. Like I don't need anybody to explain what they're saying to me. Nothing.
Oh my gosh, I love it. I had to learn. I still have to learn a little bit, and I'd be like, ooh, but I mean, even my 23andMe, they said I had, even though they said there's ties to Haiti, they was like, oh, there's also ties to Jamaica, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. But
Yeah.
they people went between the island here and there, so it's just probably like a distant ancestor broke
Yeah,
down
because
from the family
remember,
tree.
it all boils down to Africa. Like
Right,
they were transported to different islands.
right, exactly.
Yeah,
Transported to different islands, and and it's not the cutest story.
exactly.
I love how we talked about DNA, but um, I was gonna make a corny joke that was gonna tie to DNA and like healing our wounds, but
What?
it was gonna come out. It was up to my tongue, and then I was like, "Oh, you're probably gonna say something so corny." But insert corny pun here about wounds and DNA. But I wanted with just even talking about like our family history, and I just thought about like trauma too, like even down to trauma from like the slave trade and how everything is connected to all of that. Like,
Oh, and
um,
how certain themes repeat themselves.
right. Like we could still find ways to heal. We can find ways to heal.
Choose. Yep. Choose to heal.
Choose to heal. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh.
Oh, sorry. Oh, so yes. So I do want to add that under adding on to what Kiara said earlier. So other signs of like those wounds existing within you where are like trust issues, struggling with perfectionism and physicality. And I wanted to include those things just because I know I personally struggle with those things. Like, and it always started with like having trust in myself, like feeling like my voice mattered, um and then choosing to kind of like trying to navigate choosing where I can just make that decision, like somebody just because there's a difference between somebody affirming that for me and me affirming it for myself, or like perfectionism where it was like I had like some high standards. I was just no way somebody can achieve that, like no way somebody can be perfect. Like, and maybe it's the Virgo in me a little bit, but I like using that to compensate and make it seem like I'm worthy. If I do this and this, I'm worthy. When it's like I could still tell myself I'm worthy without that first. That's just a compliment to who I am, but it's
Yeah.
not going to define your exact worthiness. And then like physicality, like Kiara mentioned that earlier, like, making yourself smaller, staring at the ground while you're heading to where you're going, or muscle tension or sleeping issues. I do want to say this. I don't know if I'm an outlier. I like to stare on the ground. I do not know if it's me being neurodivergent. It really is. I have a habit of falling. So I got to look at where I'm literally walking because I can see everything else, but I can't see the thing that's going to make me trip or the nasty bug I'm going to step on. I'm going to be so real.
Yeah, in New York, I look at the ground for a very specific reason. And you heard me when I was on the phone, I was telling my kids to watch where they're stepping.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's for a reason.
Wait, is it the rats?
No, it's the dog owners who don't clean up after their
Oh, I
dogs.
hate that so much. That's another reason why I stare at the ground. That, oh, ew. Ew.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I do want to add though, right? With all of that being said, the good news is just that like many other wounds, these wounds, when you work towards them, they can heal. Uh yeah, I really yeah, they can heal.
For sure. It's a choice. It's a choice just like with anything in life. You have a choice whether you want to sit and park yourself in that trauma, in that pain, or if you want to use that as fuel. And I choose to use it as fuel. Zeta used to choose what? Zeta chooses to use it as fuel. And I know many people who I have come into contact with who use it as fuel.
Exactly.
Because many of us have learned that courage has bad consequences, right? I know I have, till this day, I am still punished for having courage, for being brave, for speaking up. I'm always punished for it, always.
Right.
Um, but I still make the choice to speak up for myself. I'm not going to let you walk all over me. I'm not going to let you treat me however, right?
Right.
So begin to choose yourself even when it feels unsafe. However, I just want to put here, if you are in a situation where you're actively being harmed, make a plan for yourself to get out of that. That's
Right.
courageous in itself, right?
Right.
Because there's some people who will, oh, you're not small enough for me, so I'm going to make you smaller by pounding on you and beating on you,
Oh yeah. Yeah, that is very
right?
good to mention that. Yeah.
Right. And I do apologize if that is a trigger to anyone, but if you are ever in a situation in that type of situation, please leave. Make a plan to safely leave. That alone is courageous, right? Trust your inner knowing after it has been dismissed. And once someone has shown you who they are, believe them. We are constantly in cycles because we don't believe people the first time,
Right.
right? There's a difference between someone struggling and then there's a difference between someone actively struggling to learn how to be different, to learn how to do different and choose different, and then there's a person who is actively treating you this way because they believe they can get away with it and that they can.
And over time, what that looks like, it shows it, you start to be able to identify it.
hmm And remember that your intuition is here for a reason. Oh,
Yep.
yes.
Yes. And like that shaky feeling like you get, well, I don't know if you ever experienced, but kind of like I know for me, it's like that shaky feeling when you're about to get to speaking. And it's like it kind of also feels like it's starting from like your throat, like where it's kind of like something is pushing you down, like, no, 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 don't say it, don't say it. But it's like, oh, but I want to go
Yes.
against it. Like start small, like keep speaking, like articulate your answer when you're in class instead of muttering, or not at adults, and you may not be at school right now or not. Like if somebody if you don't know, maybe somebody cut you off in line, that's your rightful spot and you got to get somewhere. Excuse me, the person tried to act like they ain't hearing you. All right, excuse me. And then you already there, you already said excuse me, and they looking at you, ma'am, I was here first. You let it start small, but or even giving a compliment to people. That's what I also used to do, where if I saw somebody had something that I genuinely liked, I've been like, that those pair of glasses really suit you, or I never seen a pair of glasses like that that looks really nice on you, because you're kind of like exercising that muscle. If you're that type of person where you have that wound where you just feel like your voice isn't enough or it doesn't matter, like starting like that.
For sure. For sure. I always give compliments. I never hold back. First of all, I love hair color. Like I love blue hair and purple hair. One, because I would never do it. I mean, I might, do some temporary things, but I would never make that permanent on my head. But so I give people like applause when I see that. I'm like, oh my gosh, first of all, how did you even get it to be that color? I know that took a lot of
Right.
work and you look awesome in it. Like I I tell this woman in Target, oh, I shouldn't be in Target, but I tell this woman every single time that I see her, she works in there. I tell her every single time, your hair looks awesome.
Oh my gosh. And I bet you that goes far.
Yes. You never know what somebody's going through. It's okay. Just tell them.
Exactly. Just tell them. Just tell them. And then it makes you feel good. Over time you start to see it feels good to help people feel good. But I mean,
Mhm.
some people probably may not be able to, get, but it eventually it's kind of like, that put a smile on her face and it felt good to share that.
Yes, instead of being the opposite, where how some people are just like, I hate to say it, but you know how some people are just like natural haters, like they
Yeah.
just critique everybody and everything is wrong with everybody else but you.
Yep. Oh,
Ugh.
their favorite thing, like especially at work. I'm not mentioning work a lot, y'all, but they'll be like, "Thanks for nothing." They love saying that.
Yes, we all collectively have to avoid being our harshest critic in general. The world already puts enough on all of our shoulders, and we don't need to add anymore. I don't need to hear anything negative that you have to say if it is not constructive.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yes, and you were also never meant to earn your worth. You were meant to remember it. And we'll definitely dive deeper into the next episode about that. The needing to earn your worth or learning that you need to earn someone's worth. I mean, what? Earn someone's attention. Woo, child.
Right. Oh my goodness. And also, let me see. I do want to add that when I reflect on like my personal struggles of like not being enough, or uh not being able to amount to anything, and somehow I remember that somehow it was learned from whatever trauma I had in life. So I work on that by reminding myself that no one is perfect and it is false to believe that anyone is. So therefore,
Mm-hmm.
with that
Exactly.
premise, that already sets your worth, period. Like that's your worth, period. I almost hit my mic doing like movements. Like
It's
that
okay.
already sets it, period. Like there is no other way that you are unworthy. Your worth is already set because no one is perfect. It's false to believe that it is, and that you are on enough because nobody is on that playing field. So I tell myself, I give you grace, Zeta. You gotta give yourself grace, or Zeta, it was okay. It's okay.
Exactly. And you know what's so funny? Um, Whenever I'm not done up, like when I'm not done up, and I think nobody at Grounded Stars has seen me done up. I always look like I'm rushing away from somewhere. But like
You got nice headshots though.
when I'm not done up, people assume that I am like, okay. So this is how people's homophobia shows, because when I'm not done up, I just look like a straight up tomboy, right? And to some people, that means I'm a stud, right?
um,
They assume, right? Because of their homophobia. They
mm.
assume that I am a straight up stud. And I'm just like, no, I just don't have my hair done. I don't have my nails done. I don't have my feet done. because I have other priorities. I'm not thinking about this right now. So like
Right.
I'm sitting here trying to focus on uh making funds so that I can do what I'm passionate about. I'm not worried about appearing in a way that makes you feel comfortable about me, right?
Exactly.
So it all ties back into this core of your self-image and what you look like and how other people accept you or assume you how you are, right? Just because I have on a hoodie, just because I don't show off my behind or I don't show off my breast or I'm not looking a feminine way to you, this does not mean I am whatever it is you're trying to label me. But because of your bias mindset, you are assuming that I am this, right? And please do not take offense to this if you are a stud. I please. I please do not take offense to this. I'm just talking about the what I experience as in should I say ungroomed? Or should I say I'm not dolled
Um,
up. I'm just not
Dolled up.
dolled up. I'm not what
Right.
it is. I don't look how I normally would look, right?
Mm-hmm.
But regardless of whatever I am, you are allowing your bias mindset to treat me differently than how you would normally treat me.
And then it's like you have to navigate all of that because of those labels that somebody is trying to stick on you.
I don't have to navigate anything. I'm going about my day.
Oh,
You have
period.
you have to navigate why you care so much,
Mm,
right?
right.
Because that's not your business regardless. But I truly do not identify as that. And I have nothing against anyone who does.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. I mind my business because I expect other people to mind their
And
business.
mind their business. I think that was like a quote that you mentioned to me before too.
Yes. Like, I don't care what you think of me. I'm focused on you. If I cared, I would take the 2 hours it would take me to doll myself up. But right now, I have other priorities.
Has it ever caused like an obstacle for you
Yes.
where, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I told you I joined the YMCA. I haven't been in a while, but I joined the YMCA. Um, and I was going to, I won't name which location it is. I probably shouldn't have named them, but whatever. I am speaking about my experience. I'm not talking about the company in general, right? I went into the family locker room. Why did I go into the family locker room? Because I always have my two children with me. So they were taking a shower and I had my hoodie on. I wasn't thinking anything of it. I had my hoodie on and I was listening to music. I had my headphones on, I was listening to music. And I see this like grandmother like she didn't want her grandchildren to come anywhere. Her granddaughters, I want to be very specific. She didn't want her
Mhm.
granddaughters to come anywhere near me because apparently I'm going to do something to them.
Goodness gracious.
I promise you. And she thought that I had music playing when she was saying whatever she was saying. And
Oh, and she thought you didn't
she thought I
hear
didn't hear her.
her.
And I said, oh, okay. And she's like, she's in here with her hoodie on.
And
Yeah,
what's
because
wrong with that?
it's cold outside. It's like 20
Right,
degrees outside. What do you want me to
right.
have on? It was in the wintertime.
What she wants you to have on a tank top?
Like my kids went there to swim and to do their work and play around. Like they're
And you were
they're in
minding your business.
I'm
You
always
weren't,
minding. I'm always minding my business.
yes. It's like
Always.
behavior. Like, what is someone, come on, like,
And there is nothing wrong with a woman dressing however she feels like dressing. Nobody
right.
needs to doll themselves up for you to feel comfortable. Nobody.
Nobody.
And just because I have my hoodie on, are we doing this again? Please.
It's also coming back to the terms of like, policing like black bodies, kind of like
Yes.
how those stories start off with, oh, they just looked suspicious. They're gonna do something. And it's like your behavior was nowhere near suspicious. You just were black. You just were black and had a hoodie on. Like,
Yeah. But this is like your own people doing this stuff
mm-hmm.
that I have a problem with. And
Oh, wow,
and I'm
wow.
going to be 100% honest. If I ever have my hoodie on, it's because my hair is not done. If I ever have my hoodie on, it is literally because my hair is not done. Period. In
I
any
would be
weather.
wearing more hoodies too. I just got a big head, so I can't get away with certain.
I get the men's like you could get like men's hoodies.
I should have just done that because I be having
Yeah.
those girly hoodies, and I just stopped. I just had to. I just wrapped my head.
And that's probably another issue that I buy men's hoodies too.
But it's like they're comfy. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like,
you can't win.
oh my goodness. And then that kind of like makes me want to like when I think about like that we're all talking about how that just kind of like leaves you with how you're feeling or how you're reacting to things. Like I wanted to say, like, how like kind of like we touched a little bit on just like anger, quote unquote anger, and like
Hmm.
that relationship with it, and how when certain things happen to us, like is it wrong to have that kind of like fuel how you're going to stand up for yourself? And it's not wrong, but you have to have like a healthy relationship with it. And I know, like, way back then, like I know I had an unhealthy relationship with it, because when you're people pleasing, and I'm like the people pleasing first daughter, that you're told to bottle these things up. Yes, these things are going to happen to you, but you got to bottle it up. You got to take it when somebody is treating you a certain type of way, just because of who you are, how you come across, your race. And then like you don't want to be the one to cause the scene or whatever, but then it's like everyone benefits, and then you're bottling things up. And
Yeah.
I that would happen to me. So but I learned that the healthier way with that type of anger is you got to permit yourself to advocate for yourself, and then things can change from that point on. So you could still be angry that something happened to you, right? But what do you do with that anger? Are you taking a moment to breathe? I know sometimes before I say anything that I don't want to say, I breathe. I take a breath, and then I sometimes I explicitly tell the person, I don't have anything nice to say to you right now. It won't be nice. So I'm stepping away. I've said that to people before.
Yeah.
And it feels good because, one, they can't be mad that you said it because you gave them the courtesy, let them know you're not saying anything further.
Mhm.
But also you're protecting yourself, right? Yes, you're still upset, but you protected yourself from any further hurt on yourself, your situation, or the other person. And you have to like kind of remind yourself that there isn't any justification to bottle things up. There's more justification to see what can you do moving forward and advocate for yourself. And I think the same can go for everyone here that's listening.
That's very true because I know for me, I'm like a volcano. I will bottle it up. Not anymore. I used to bottle it up until I exploded. And then when I exploded, people tried to act like my anger was not valid when it was 100% valid. I'm not angry for no reason.
Right.
And I don't care how much you tell other people that I am. I'm not crazy. I'm angry for a reason. I'm yelling for a reason because I probably said it 1,000 times before and I was saying it in a low tone or I was whispering it and you wanted to pretend that you didn't hear me. So now I'm yelling, right?
Mm-hmm.
So absolutely.
And kind of like when I look back into what I learned with anger, right? Like um the healthy way to use it, because it's an emotion, right? But it doesn't mean it's automatically bad. It's what you do. you can use it as like the tool to see what is being said right now that I don't understand. If I don't understand what's going on, it's like it could be that your boundary was crossed, or you know deep down that you deserve better, or you know what, like, I know these things, but I want to properly direct about why I'm upset. So it's just kind of like, I think like even like with my use of it, like when things would happen to me and I knew I was tired of how it was affecting my confidence and how it was affecting how I interacted with other people. And pretty much I think like, I mean, not I think it started off with like even just with my parents, the amount of disrespect I had to deal with them. And then just one day, even though they were upset, they were mad at me, even when it wasn't valid. I knew it was gonna happen. I still just said, no, I did not like this because that was a lie. And I know, especially I know my black folks, they don't like hearing that, saying that's a lie. Say it's a story. But
Mhm.
I'm not officially the black sheep in my family, but
I
I
am.
learned I learned from the black sheep of my family, my sister that came after me, the middle sister. I learned from her. You got to say how it is, and I'm
My
upset.
name, my name literally means the black one.
Wait, is that the meaning of Kiera?
Let me check on it. Hold on. It literally means little dark one.
What? What language?
Ah, let's see. Irish.
Wow.
I am literally I am
It
literally the black sheep.
is little dark. Wow. Wow. That kind of like, how they say like your name also kind of like says who you are, tells your story. That's crazy. That's
Yes.
foreshadowing to the max. I'm like really floored. I don't know what my name means. I just know it's the letter that comes after Y.
But it's so true because um oh no. 1 second. Go Zetha.
I do want to say that kind of like in this little segment that we have about like identity, and then just like the things that happen to us and then how it makes us feel, and then the anger that it could bring up and how it affects your confidence. It's important to address your emotions, these emotions like anger, healthily, because if they are suppressed, it could come out manifesting as like anxious behaviors or shame and sadness in your life, or having self blame on yourself. And then when it is honored, you are able to feel more assertive. You start to feel more empowered because you are self advocating for yourself, or you're building more courage, or you're building more confidence for yourself. And it's not like sitting there like yelling and putting you're not being aggressive. Anger isn't synonymous to aggressiveness, but it can
Yes.
be. It tells you when something is wrong. So allow yourself to figure out what's wrong and put yourself first. And you can only be able, and if you're thinking about the other people in your life because you're people pleasing, you're bottle things up, think about how much more people will benefit because you were able to put yourself first. Kind of like when you're in an airplane and they say you got to put your mask on before you put anybody else's mask on, because you're not going to have any amount of breath left to help yourself breathe and survive if you don't got that mask on. So
Absolutely. And I do apologize. I was glitching for a second. I think I was glitching the whole episode because
I
I
glitch
was
some all day
following this.
sometimes.
I was not following the script at all. I just we were just bouncing off of each other. But but that's life, right? That's life, not following a script, because sometimes life is life in. But
Yes, life's with all caps.
yes, but I know for me, when I was younger, it was all about being quiet, shutting up, stop talking, because you're blowing up our spot. I remember I got popped for calling my mother a liar.
Oh
I
my
got
gosh, I
popped.
got popped for that too.
And um I was literally lied to.
Oh my
So do you see, like, you're punishing me for being honest.
exactly. And what
You
does
get what
that
I'm
teach your
saying?
kids?
Exactly. Right? I'm
It
just saying.
doesn't like why? Like, and I tell people this all the time, even though like yeah, my parents played some type of role in who I am. I tell myself my parents did not 100% made me who I am today. They did not. Because
No,
the things they done, the things they punished me for, I'm like, there you would have seen a weak, now let me not say weak, a disempowered girl right in front of you, and I probably wouldn't be here talking to you,
I
Kiara.
like that. I like how you switch the wording, because it's important how we speak about ourselves, and it's
Right,
important how we speak to ourselves, because I have felt disempowered. I still to this day have moments of feeling disempowered, and I'm over it. I'm over it. You're not about to sit in my face and play. You're not.
right,
It
right,
is what it is. And if you don't like it, oh well. Right?
right.
You're too old for this. So
And life
I
is too short for
applaud
it
you.
too.
Yes. And life is too short to be gaslit. And I feel like
Mhm.
once somebody has shown you that they are going to play mind games with you, they're going to gaslight you, they're going to team up against you, or blatantly lie to you or about you, that is a dangerous person in your life,
Exactly.
because a lie can go far.
It can go
One,
far.
yes, one lie that you may think is small, it can go far and it could damage someone's life.
Exactly. And I'm not trying to fearmonger nobody, but I don't know if you ever heard of that phrase. That phrase, it's like real old school because I heard it from like my step team uh coach. I forgot the name, but back in middle school. But she used to say, if this not gonna put it in y'all, you guys, like she used to say, if somebody's willing to lie, then they're willing to steal. And if they're willing to steal, they're willing to kill. So it's just like when somebody
Mhm.
play games like that with
Mhm.
me, I'm like not afraid to be like, you know what, stay over there. We not friends. It's cool. Because they
Yep.
say the people that hurt you the most are the ones that are closest to you. So why would you want,
Because you know
yeah,
everything. You know too
exactly.
much. Because
Exactly.
there are people out there who will unalive you because of what you know, because of what you may tell, and also because you won't allow them to have power over you anymore.
And they fear that.
Yep. They don't want their reputation. Their reputation is more important than your life.
Hmm.
Yep. It is foundational to practice self care and mindfulness when starting on any journey, but specifically on this journey towards building self confidence and courage. Um, I don't. I don't know if I said it on here, but I did say it to Zetha when we were speaking privately. I have not been taking care of myself. I have not been prioritizing myself. And I have to get back to that because it is messing with my confidence, right?
Hmm.
Following that, remember to make small yet consistent actions stemming from getting slowly out of your comfort zone. Because when you sit in your comfort zone, there is no growth. You're not
Uh-huh.
growing, you're staying still. You have to identify your fears. You have to challenge that negative self talk. You have to embrace imperfection. Um, there are a few practical tools and journaling prompts that you can follow. Zetha's going to share them with us.
Yes, and I love journaling prompts. I love it so much. So when you tasked me to like identify some, I was like, yes. And I have a
Woo!
Pinterest board dedicated to journal prompts. So like the ones that I wanted to prepare for this episode today is to one, write down a negative thought you've had about yourself recently and what is a kinder, truer version of that thought. Two,
Oh,
what boundary?
can I add to that one?
Yes, please.
Also, identify where that thought stems from,
Ooh, yes.
right?
Yes. Because the source of where that comes from can tell you a lot of things about what's going on internally. So I love that.
Yes.
And then 2, what boundaries can I set to protect my self-esteem? 3, are there any situations or people that make me doubt myself? Why? How can I distance myself from them? And I also want you to say,
Ooh,
oh yeah, we already put the why. But yeah, how can you distance yourself from them? Because there's some people like at work you cannot stay away from.
the
You
gray
just
rock
can't.
method.
Yes.
The gray rock method. Google it right after this. The
Yes.
gray rock method. It works.
My
Trust me.
sister mastered that method, and she especially mastered that with my dad. Oh
The
my
black
God.
sheep. The black
Yes.
sheep. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
She
black sheep
mastered
has to
it.
learn to be a gray rock.
She
Period.
mastered it, and I had to learn it from her. And but yes, gray rock. And if you're in a professional setting, uh you got to still perform. I hate performing at work, but you still got to
I
perform. You might
know.
have to protect yourself and say good morning to everyone, including that person that is causing you some mental issues. You never Don't forget to document if it's mental duress, because you never know if that could help you in the future. Little tip.
Hmm. Hmm.
But you
Always
know
document.
document. But like certain friends, if there's somebody in a friend group that's causing issues, because I've heard that happen to other friends, where it's just somebody in whatever friend group they're in, what do you do? Kind of like say, hey, you guys, I just rather not hang around with this person, so and so. Or even if you got to change the friends or the frequency, do that. Like you in that specific journaling prompt, the point is for you to dive in and seeing what is something that you can do, because it's a part of you advocating for yourself. You do not have to keep certain people in your life. And if I'm able to not have my mom and dad all up in my life, because I love my mom, questionable about my dad right now, um I still
Yeah.
find a way, and I'm much more
Oh,
happier.
I'm laughing. I'm laughing to make the situation lighter, but it's not funny at all.
Oh,
No.
I laugh to make things lighter too, girl. So you
Hmm.
already know I'm right with you. But I'll it's for you to dive in. This is no right or wrong answer. The only right answer is, are you advocating for yourself in a healthy manner? 4, what are my strengths and how can I use them to achieve my goals? So if yes, you are a um let's say you're more on the timid side, and you know that you might struggle with speaking up for yourself in the moment. Well, your strength could be, maybe you're very persistent. You know that you are a persistent person. You can still be persistent and timid. Well, how can you use your persistence to help you grow in those areas of life where you feel more timid and it is causing you issues, right? um
Exactly.
like, or even if, I think, get creative with the strength. If you find that you are a very creative person, maybe you can start using that as a way to have you connected with creative people who actually value you instead of a different kind of group. And then 5, write about a recent situation where you felt angry. How did you handle it, and how would you like to handle it differently next time? And
Ooh,
think
these are
about
great.
in a healthy way, because I don't want you to be like, yes, I wish I argued with that girl one more time and I put my hands on her. No, not that, not that, not that. But
Exactly.
more so like, if something like that were to happen again, what would you do this time to advocate for yourself and separate yourself safely? What would be the
Yep.
growing person, that person that you wish and you dream of embodying? What would you think they would do?
Absolutely. I love all of these, each and every one of these. These are awesome.
Thank you.
Yes. And please do remember to check out our Substack blog posts. They will be more in depth and they will include all of these journal prompts for you. And
And
Zeta, before we close out, is there anything that you would like to say
so,
regarding what we spoke about?
oh yes. So I want to say that as we are concluding this episode, I want you to remember that your confidence empowers your choices. You're not just looking for the confidence, you're using it to help empower your choice, and it has like an interchangeable relationship. One goes with the other, right?
Yes.
And I do want to say that those wounds we have relating to courage and confidence, it can make you feel less than. It can get into your relationships, your sense of self, and even how you assert yourself on things that matter. But and that's we want you to work on these things, and it's our goal for us to work on ourselves because again, we're not perfect. It's still a journey. Like using all of those tools that we mentioned and asking ourselves these questions will kind of just, like again, like my favorite, the key word of today is the empower. It's empowerment.
Absolutely. And I just do want everyone to remember that you are allowed to be who you choose to be. As long as you are not hurting, intentionally hurting another person, there's nothing wrong with being yourself. There's nothing wrong with being you, dressing how you feel, being who you are, expressing yourself in the way that you feel is right for you. Right.
Right. Oh, and I forgot. I'm so sorry. Your closing affirmations. I'm so sorry.
You said them already, but just remember to trust your intuition, make decisions with confidence. I always tell my kids, is this smart? Make smart choices. But no, seriously, make smart choices, please. And listen to your intuition because like I told you before, that first gut feeling is usually the right one.
That's true. That is true.
Mhm.
So, with that being said, we are concluding this episode on healing our wounds around courage and confidence. Of course, like I mentioned before, and how we were getting into when we were wrapping up, like we're gonna want to be empowered, and we got to take those itty bitty steps to being empowered and reflecting on what affect us back then and how we're going to use that to um help us grow and not be stuck into what we were dealing with back then.
Absolutely. And in our next episode, we will be discussing healing the fear of being seen. So it will act as an extension of this episode. So anything that we didn't get to dive deeper into, we will definitely touch base on in the next episode. If you felt this conversation, please remember to follow us wherever you get your podcasts, share it with a friend, and join us on this healing journey at groundedstars.com, which may be under construction by the time this comes out. If it is, please feel free to connect with us on any of the social media sites.
Beautifully said. And with that, you guys, we just send all our love and our care, and we cannot wait to hear from well, we cannot wait to have you hear from us in our next episode.
Absolutely. Bye.
Bye.